There is a question hidden inside the Nativity that many people never stop to ask. Not how Jesus was born, but why this way? Why a virgin? Why not a normal birth? Why does the Church insist this matters so deeply? At first glance, it can feel unnecessary, even embarrassing, like an ancient detail we're expected to accept without understanding. But Orthodoxy insists on the virgin birth not because it is strange, but because without it, the entire story of salvation collapses. To understand why, we have to go back, not just to Bethlehem, but to Adam. In the Orthodox Church, we don't speak of original sin as inherited legal guilt. We speak of ancestral sin, a condition, not a crime. When Adam fell, humanity didn't inherit his blame. We inherited the consequences of his rupture with God: corruption, mortality, disordered desire, and separation. Death entered human nature, not as punishment imposed from outside, but as decay from within. Humanity became sick. Every child born after Adam was born into this condition, not guilty, but wounded, mortal, inclined toward corruption, separated from the life of God. This condition was not merely taught or learned. It became the state of human existence. And here is the key problem. If salvation is merely forgiveness, God could simply declare humanity pardoned. But if salvation is healing, then something far more radical is required. The sickness must be treated at its root. This is why Orthodoxy insists on a truth the early Church never compromised on. What is not assumed is not healed. If Christ does not assume full human nature remains unhealed. If he assumes it already corrupted, corruption remains undefeated. So God does something no human religion would ever imagine. He does not fix humanity from the outside. He enters humanity at its beginning. This is where the Virgin Mary is not incidental. She is essential. Christ is not born into fallen humanity in the usual way. He is born from humanity, but not according to the fallen pattern. Mary gives Christ everything that makes him truly human: flesh, blood, growth, vulnerability. He is fully human. He hungers, tires, suffers, and dies. But what he does not inherit is corruption as destiny. This is not because sex or marriage are sinful. Orthodoxy rejects that entirely. Marriage and childbirth are holy. But after the fall, every human birth participates in a humanity already bent toward death. The virgin birth interrupts that cycle, not by rejecting humanity, but by recreating it from within. The humanity Christ receives does not originate from fallen generation alone. It originates from the Holy Spirit. And this brings us to Mary's unique place. The Church calls her Theotokos, the one who gives birth to God, not because she precedes God, not because she created his divinity, but because the one she bore is truly God. To deny her this title is not humility, it is a denial of who Christ is. If Christ is God, and Mary gave birth to him according to his humanity, then she is truly the Mother of God incarnate. This title protects Christology, not Marian sentimentality. It safeguards the truth that God truly became man, not symbolically, not temporarily, but fully. And yet, the Church is careful. Mary is not worshipped. Worship belongs to God alone. She is venerated, honored, loved, and invoked because she stands at a place no other human does. Why? Because salvation did not happen without her free cooperation. God does not force himself into creation. He waits. Just as Eve freely listened to the serpent and introduced death, Mary freely listens to the angel and introduces life. This is why the Church calls her the new Eve. Her yes is not a detail. It is the turning point of history. This is also why her place in heaven is unique. She is not divine, but she is the closest human to God, not by power, but by obedience, not by authority, but by humility, not by merit, but by faithfulness. In Orthodox iconography, she stands nearest to Christ, interceding for the world, not replacing him, pointing to him, always directing attention away from herself and toward her Son. Her role did not end at Bethlehem. She remains what she always was, the one who brings Christ to the world. And this has consequences for us. Christ takes human nature from Mary. He heals it, and he gives it back to us, transfigured. This is why baptism is not symbolic. This is why the Eucharist is not metaphorical. This is why the Church speaks of theosis, participation in divine life. The virgin birth is not an ornament of theology. It is the foundation of Christian existence. It tells us salvation is not God tolerating us as we are. It is God transforming what we are. It tells us humanity is not discarded, but redeemed. That freedom matters. That healing requires incarnation. That God does not shout salvation from heaven. He enters the womb. And that is why the Church will never stop proclaiming it. Not because it is mysterious, but because it is true.